mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary. Hello, welcome to Great Mother Speaks. I'm Tammy Taylor, your manifestation muse, and today we're talking about our deepest and truest emotional state in a day and age when addiction, pain avoidance reigns supreme. The pain of us not marrying our intentions to our actions. Well, the Scorpio new moon ain't got time for that. The new moon is the time of emotional gestation and spiritual feeling. The lunar phase indicative of the fallow season when we need to leave the field dormant so it can regenerate through rest. It is purposeful rest. The kind of purposeful rest that comes from sincere lovemaking, as indeed for but 2 days or so, the moon, Great Mother energy, and the sun, Great Father God, closely embrace one another in the sign of Scorpio. This happens once a year, and in every new moon, Great Mother, Father God recommit their vows, so to speak. And their vows are basically threefold. Emotionally, the new moon, and deeply on a spiritual level, help us articulate our emotions in loving and sincere ways so that our unique creativity can shine through. They recommit to show us how to turn pain into gain and how to release perfectionism. The new moon, this darkness of spirit before it materializes into form in Scorpio wants to take us deeply into our soul by scaling the depths of our fearful and painful emotions in order to reemerge with greater clarity, balance, and confirmation of what to hold on to. From the harvest and hunter moons we've had recently to fertilize the field, and what roots need to be pulled to die. This is how we are able to marry our intention with actions. Be sure to clock your moon sign with the birth chart calculator below. You may already know your Western or tropical moon sign, and I encourage you to use the Vedic calculator to find your sidereal or Jyotish moon sign. That's the Vedic. If you are highly sensitive, empathic, or intuitive, you'll find that it's about 24 degrees before your Western moon sign. And if you're going by the Vedic astrology, the new moon is in the final degrees of Libra and the first degrees of Scorpio, signified by the nakshatra Vishaka. It means manifestation, new opportunities, sexual gratification, determination. And so that's why we say new moon in the month. This is the new moon November reading as opposed to the new moon in Scorpio or Libra. This is a vibrational reading with Great Mother frequencies, and she's speaking to us all. But of course, communication is the accurate giving and receiving of information. So in order to receive accurate information from Great Mother, we have to first give it to ourselves, don't we? We have to understand where we're coming from emotionally. So I encourage you to do that. Please note these readings are also for your Rahu and K2 or North and South nodes. Welcome, Leo moon sign. This is your November new moon reading for Great Mother Speaks. We're going to be looking at the lights and the shadows. The light with regard to our moon reading has to do with the sun. So we know that with the various phases of the moon reflects the light of the sun. So we see here that
through these 8 phases, in the new moon period, there is no light being reflected. That's where we're in. It's very, very dark. And so this is a deep yin energy. This is great mother energy, very strong, deeply intuitive phase. As we move around, we see the various reflections from the crescent moon all the way to the full moon of when Great Father starts to come back in there and shed his light upon the moon, all the way to the full moon, which will be in about 2 weeks' time. I always encourage viewers to look at the previous reading, and so that would be the full moon reading, to see how what came to fruition during the full moon period is now helping you move forward in planting new seed for the new lunar cycle. For you, Leo moon people, this has a lot to do with bonding. Of course, the Scorpio moon is in the 4th house for you, and so this is a very deep emotional connection. This has to do with genuine positive sexual connection. It has to do with intense feelings being expressed in very positive and healthy and healthful ways. If you are working with the Vedic energy, my empathic, highly sensitive, intuitive people, well, then your moon is in Libra. And so this also has to do with bonding. It has to do with commitment. But it also really for you, in the 3rd house, this communicative house with this Libran energy trying to balance, there may be intense interaction with people. And so you may be feeling that there's actually issues of commitment, self-discipline, maybe internal, very deep internal confusion about good versus evil. So what is really the best moralistic thing to do? You may be asking yourself in this new moon period. So we're going to explore it a little further, and we're going to be looking at what's going on with you, Leo moon people, with Great Mother this month in the light and the shadows. You have 3 major cards from the Great Mother Speaks deck. This deck is based on the 49 scenes of the Wizard of Oz. They are step-by-step processes in these scenes that show us how to release and let go, which is what the lunar cycles do. Every 29 days there is a fallow, a new moon period with a build up, a waxing period that eventually goes to fullness again, and then the letting go. Okay, it goes back into that letting go. The major cards have to do with the chakras, and our chakras from this deck go from 1 to 8. The 8 being the law cards, and the law cards are Great Father energy. The 7th chakra is that intuitive chakra. Leo is ruled by the sun, and so the law cards would be more that rules Leo moon people. These are one law card, which is 7th chakra, and 2 balsamic moon cards, which are 8th chakra. So our 8th chakra is where we create our soul contracts. It's where we, it's the lessons we agreed to learn before we incarnated. This chakra is a feminine chakra. It's a yin chakra. And so Great Mother, Father, God are inviting you to go very, very deeply into issues surrounding what you feel right now in terms of suffering. They're saying that there is no need to suffer, Leo moon people. There's some type of judgment that is coming up against you. There is maybe some thought of fear or lack. Maybe you're feeling alone, but they're saying that you are also feeling like there is someone around you or a situation around you, whether you are dealing with a compulsion to take risk, looking at the Libra new moon, and you're feeling compelled to take a risk that you think is going to take you into a better feeling vibration, so to speak, as Abraham Hicks says. Or you are with the Libra vibrational energy, which is saying that you want to do this better feeling energy of, because you're feeling compelled to do something. Or you're with the Leo moon energy of Scorpio new moon that is saying, okay, I want to positively bond with someone or something, but I'm not feeling that reciprocated. You may be feeling it reciprocated to a certain level, but you're not sure. And this is indicated by the self-inquiry card. Self-inquiry has to do with us asking ourselves, is something true? And we do this when we forget that we are children of the great Mother, Father, God. And isn't that what Dorothy did along the yellow brick road? She forgot who she was, and that's what the journey was all about. Her taking that power back. And so right now, there's just a little bit of light here. And what does the light say with the moon sign of Leo? It says, I will. That great I, okay, that I am, great father energy, that yang energy. It says, I will. And so there's a motivation to move forward, you know, despite not having maybe perhaps the clarity that you want with regard to your soulmate, or not having real the emotional connection that you want. You're wanting to move forward, but there's an impediment right now in this position. What Great Mother, Father, God is saying, as we see with the equal light and darkness in the Mother Mary card, and they're both there together in that third quarter moon, this is about release. It's about letting go and forgiveness, this phase of the moon. This law card says that when we go forward, despite our fears, and release what no longer serves us and going toward what we feel does. And so if you feel that deeply inside of you that this relationship will bond me to something that is for my highest good, Libra new moon people, Scorpio new moon people, if you're feeling that this is something that, even though I may be having some doubts about it, is going to give me what I need in terms of a higher spiritual connection and a relationship, go for it. You know, you are wanting this mutual support, and you have a double yang symbol here that's telling you that what's out of balance is the action. So we are marrying our intention with action. And so be very clear about your intention. I'm seeing Great Mother, Father, God say, because once you are, you're going to have the energetic support coming out of this new moon to follow through. And so that's all that the self-inquiry is about. Whenever there's a doubt about our divinity, we ask the negative thought or the situation, is it true that I'm not good enough? Do I know this to be absolutely true? You know, Google the work of Byron Katie, the work, and if that will assist you, use it to work through whatever this is that's coming against you, to create doubt about your divinity and your worthiness to happiness, health, and wholeness. And along your yellow brick road, you're going to challenge them and show them for the illusion that they are, just as Dorothy did in The Wizard of Oz. Now, you being the I will, Great Mother does not want you to overlook how important processing this situation is. It's very important that, especially if you're feeling an unction to take a risk. I'm getting that a lot with my Vedic people. You're feeling compelled to take some type of risk, and this might have to do with you wanting to balance the scales about something that you don't feel is quite right. And so she's giving you a little precaution about doing that in light of this processing card, which basically says in the balsamic moon, you're still downloading intuitive information. That's the balsamic moon. It's the phase right before this new moon. And so that indicates that since about last week, if you're watching it right at the new moon, if you're watching this before the new moon, we're in the balsamic moon, where that's crescent before it goes all dark. It's download. You know, that's when the veil is very, very thin. Just like around Halloween time, the Days of the Dead and all that, when it's darkest right before we do the time change, the daylight savings change, it is darkest. Okay, the sunlight is least and least and least. That's why that's the least sunlight before it goes into dark. That has to do with you downloading Great Mother, and as we can see, these two balsamic moon cards are mostly dark. So we want to be very clear and very certain about understanding that you're still processing. You're still getting an idea about exactly what it is you need to do to move forward with creating new bonds and contracts with others, with moving forward with whatever risk you're wanting to take that you feel are going to be for your highest good, whatever positive sexual relationships you want to have. You're still really processing exactly what it is that you need to develop the strength, self-discipline, and clear perspective of what is good and what is evil in your life. What is good and what is evil, Libra new moon people, has to do with what is resonating with you. Morality changes with eras and trends and generational time. What is true for you may not be necessarily true for someone else. Good is always balanced with truth and beauty. And so if it has truth and beauty in it for you and for those around you for their highest good, it is good. If it is something that ignores that truth, beauty, and goodness for you and those around you, it is evil. It is going into the direction of compromising your divinity. And so that's all that evil is. It's something that is a temptation that triggers us away from being very clear about what those positive bonding relationships will bring and be for us. Remember that these readings are specifically for your moon sign, but you can also use them for your sun sign. So if you want to watch that video, that might be very useful. And thank you for watching. And remember that the 49 scenes symbolize the bricks that help us to transcend those fears and to actually be able to emancipate ourselves from the habit of perfectionism, fear of our shadows, and our pain avoidance and the patterns that result from us continuing with these unproductive patterns as a result of not reaffirming within ourselves that we are divine children of Great Mother, Father God. We are just here on a journey to reaffirm and to strengthen our hearts, our minds, and our courage. For more information, please click on the playlist for who these videos are for and visit greatmotherspeaks.info for more detailed information specific to moon signs as well as north and south nodes. I am a life coach as well as the inventor of this deck. Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void.